What's up everyone, Zach Seif here, and in today's video we're going to go over my live guitar tone for 2023. So the main reason that I'm making today's video is because I've implemented a ton of changes from my old live guitar tone to this year, and I want to go over all the new amps, effects, and cabs that I'm using. And if you guys enjoyed the video and the tones that you hear, this preset will be available for purchase. More on that at the end of the video. Without any further ado, let's get started. So the way that I'm going to do this video today is I'm going to walk you through my entire signal chain first, and then we'll go scene by scene to hear what everything sounds like. So we start here with the input block. I have different noise gates set up for different channels, different amounts of gain, etc. And then I run into my wah block. I finally start using a wah again with the FM3 and the FM9. So having this just makes it so that I can have some really cool wah sounds at different parts of the set. As you can see, I have two channels here. The B channel for the clean channel, has a little less volume, right? I have a -3 just so I don't ever clip the output. And then I have no graphic EQ. I can disable that, but it's the same thing. And then when we go to the lead channels, I have a 3 decibel gain boost in front just so it helps add a little bit of grit. And I also have the EQ set to emulate somewhere between a traditional Crybaby, the Petrucci Crybaby, and to get more of what I want in a wah sound. That brings us to the pitch block. The pitch block, again, I can edit all of this stuff with my foot controller, but basically I need a couple of different sounds for Crash the Party. I have half step down, I have a whole step down, and then I also have an octaver, which I took from Riff Spirits and Gear on this one, just to try and get it sounding like a Boss OC2 for when I want some octave kind of stuff. Go on over to the phaser. I have this set just like a slow Eddie Van Halen style phaser. I can click this on and off as needed. I have a drive, which you'll see I have a control switch set up to it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I have 4 different channels here. I have a esoteric RCB, I have an 808, I have a BB preamp, and I have a clon. Again, they're all assigned to different channels and different scenes. Going through the amplifiers, I have a ODS 100, that's my double clean channel. Everything's straight up the middle except for the presence, which is on 3. Then I have the matchless DC 30, gain a little bit above half, bass turned down, treble to taste, high cut to cut off any of those annoying high-end frequencies. I have the Brit 800, which is a JCM 800 modded, pretty much stock. I adjusted the presence a little bit. And then we have the JP2C red channel, which is set up the exact same way that Petrucci has his set up, including his 5-band EQ settings. Moving on, we have the chorus block, which I really only utilize the Dimension 1 chorus for all my different presets, and again, it's toggled on and off depending on the sound that I'm going for. Delays, I run a couple different delays. I have a long dual delay, 500 and 996 milliseconds, and that pans right and left if I'm running stereo. For this is my main lead tone, 450, 600, and again, those feed back into each other like a Petrucci lead sound. I have a mono tape, which I used to use, but I don't use it anymore. And then a digital mono, which I use for one specific song, which we'll get to in a minute. After that, I have my reverb. The only difference between the reverb on the Axe FX3 and the FM9 versus the FM3 is that I can run ultra high quality on the more powerful units, but for the FM3, I have to switch to economy, which drastically drops the CPU usage by 2 to 5%. per sound. So I have a room for all my clean stuff. I have a plate for the mid-gain tones. I have a modulated reverb pitch shift octaver for the ambient channel. And then I have a large room for my lead sounds and my piezo acoustic. I have a rotary block, which is just default. I liked how it sounded just with the stock settings. Cabinets, I'm running the Petrucci Mesa Boogie 412 rectifier and USA Traditionals with an SM7 as a dynamic mic and a 121 as a condenser mic. Low cut at 80, high cut at 6,200. That's across the board. 6 decibel slope for the low cut, just to let a little bit more of that grunt come through, and 12 decibels for the high end, just so it stays nice and smooth. And then for the Piezo acoustic IR, I have the Holy Grail C800 number 2, and again, that's from Worship Tutorials. You can download all those IRs for free from their website. 80 hertz cut on the low end. And then finally, we just have the JFET compressor at the very end with the 2-to-1 ratio, nice slow attack, decent release time. And again, that's just to help prevent any clipping on the master bus and just to kind of help tie everything together volume wise. And we have output 1 and output 2. So now that we've gone through my entire signal chain, let's just go through each scene one at a time and we'll talk about them. So this is my basic clean tone. It's just the dumble into the reverb block, into the cab block, into the compressor. One last thing to point out real quick is that all of my amplifiers have the 4x12 recto large speaker impedance curve. If you haven't seen my video on impedance curves, I highly recommend you check that out. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now, but basically it changes the relationship between the amplifier and the speaker cabinet to get the resonant frequency more accurate so that you get better low end response. But anyway, here's what my clean tone sounds like. So again, it's really good for spanky kind of funk stuff, and it also does single note arpeggios really well as well. So let's go over to scene 2. Scene 2 is exactly the same as number 1, except we add the chorus block in so I can do all my 80s stuff. And I have that one special delay here. So we'll talk about my foot switch later, but when I kick on my control switch, it turns on the drive block, the delay block. They're kind of tied together, but as you can see, the drive is set to 0 on this mix. I'm not adding any distortion, but what I am doing is adding a very specific delay timing for Juice by Lizzo. Alright, so on and so forth. It matches the recording verbatim when I'm playing with the click track. And I have that set up because we open our show sometimes with that, or we'll kick off the second set with it. And so I needed that exact specific delay time. So it's cool that I can turn it on with one specific scene and one button. Moving on to scene number 3, you'll notice that I have the drive and delay again. But again, the drive block is set to 0. And the delay is doing all the work here. This is my ambient channel, so this is where the reverb switches to the Andromeda, and it sounds like this. So I use this preset when I need to do some more synthy kind of pad style sounds where there's not really guitar, but I'm just kind of adding some texture. And the only thing I haven't gone over yet is the rotary block, which I kick in for maybe 2 songs. If we play Valerie, I'll kick it on so that we can have some sort of like organ sound going. That's really all it's there for. I also use it when I take solos on this song to get really cool lead tones. Moving on to scene number 4, we have my Edge of Breakup, which is based on a matchless DC30. I love how this amp sounds. And I use this for, again, like 2 or 3 songs, but I like having the option of having a specific amp for a specific purpose. This is for country stuff and the southern rock stuff that we do. Alright, so that's what this preset is for. Pretty straightforward, nice and easy. Moving on to the crunch channel, I am finally using a Marshall style amp in my rig. And I love how this thing sounds. It's very dynamically responsive. So it sounds great for really any amount of game playing because of how dynamic it is, but I use this for like my mid-gain kind of sounds. And then when I go to kick on my solo boost, we have the Klon. It's the same thing that I use on the Edge of Breakup clean tone, so I don't have to go back to that. It's my basic delay, 450 and 600, and then my Klon is set to 6, 6, and in the level maxed out, and it gives me... so on and so forth. Depending on the guitar, sometimes I'll kick back the treble a little bit, but it's really not that noticeable live. Moving on to preset number 6, this is my Piezo acoustic. So again, we have the acoustic IR loaded. We have a larger reverb and the compressor. I use it here and there, and it does the job. It prevents me from having to bring out a full acoustic guitar, and in a live mix, sounds great. And last but not least, we have my 2 higher gain sounds. We have my rhythm, which is the Mesa JP2C. Sounds like... It's heavy, it's thick, it's perfect. And the only difference between scene 7 and 8 is the lead version of that preset. I call it Liquid Dreams. 808 kicks on, delay kicks on, got my reverb turned up a bit to 12. Yeah, it sounds awesome. That's pretty much my live preset for 2023. 3 clean sounds, 4 gain sounds, and an acoustic sound. And that's really all I need, using 4 totally different amplifiers, but because they're running through the same pair of cabinets outside of the acoustic sound, it gives it a uniformity. And because all of these amps are running the same speaker impedance curve, again, it just matches the amp and the cab up that much better. And it gives you such a consistent and pleasant sound night after night on the road.
that just about wraps up today's video. I hope you all enjoyed my new live guitar tone. It sounds fantastic to me, in my opinion, and it's what you hear in all of my gig vlogs, all of the videos that I do. It's all over the place in all of my everyday content. If you guys are interested in that, you can hit me up through email. All of those links will be in the description box below, and you can hit me up to purchase this preset. I really appreciate all of you who have reached out so far. I've sold dozens of my presets, and I've heard nothing but positive feedback, so thank you all so much for that support. Until next time, everyone, if you want more content on the regular, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff is in the description. As though, feel free to let me know your thoughts on today's video in the comments section. Let me know what kind of amps and effects you're using for live, and if you think there are any changes that I can implement to make my tone even better. Until next time, everyone, keep on following your dreams.